Hi everyone and welcome to this presentation on contingency allowances in construction projects. If you have ever prepared a cost estimate or reviewed a project budget, you've probably come across the term contingency. But what exactly does it mean and why is it so important? Many people mistakenly think contingency is simply extra money added to a budget. In reality, it is a carefully planned allowance to manage uncertainties that are expected but cannot yet be fully quantified. In this session, we will discuss what contingency allowances are, the different types, how they are calculated, when they should and should not be used, and finally, we'll look at a practical project example. By the end of this presentation, you will have a much clearer understanding of how contingency helps protect project budgets while supporting better decision making. So, what is a contingency allowance? A contingency allowance is a sum of money included within a project budget to cover what we call known unknowns. These are risks that we know might happen but cannot accurately quantify during the estimating stage. For example, the design may still be developing, the actual ground conditions may differ from investigations, or quantities may increase as the project progresses. These uncertainties are common in construction, and contingency provides financial flexibility to manage them. However, it is important not to confuse contingency with profit. Profit is the contractor's planned return for executing the work, whereas contingency is reserved to deal with uncertainty. Similarly, contingency is different from a risk allowance. A risk allowance is assigned to specific identified risks, whereas contingency covers the remaining uncertainties that cannot yet be individually quantified. So, contingency is essentially a proactive budgeting tool that helps project absorb expected uncertainties without immediately exceeding the approved budget. Now, let's look into the types of contingency allowances. Not all contingency allowances are the same. Different types serve different purposes and are controlled by different stakeholders. Design contingency is usually included during the concept and design development stage because the design is still evolving. Construction contingency comes into play once the project moves into tendering and construction, covering uncertainties that arise during execution. Client contingency is maintained by the project owner throughout the project lifecycle to address broader financial uncertainties. Management reserve is normally controlled by senior management and is intended for major unforeseen strategic issues rather than routine project risks. Finally, we have escalation allowance, which is actually different from contingency. Escalation specifically covers inflation in material and labor prices over time, especially on long duration projects. Understanding these different allowances helps ensure that the correct budget is used for the right purpose and prevents misuse of contingency funds. Now let's understand how contingency is determined. The common question is how we decide the amount of contingency to include in a project budget. For smaller or early stage projects, many organizations simply apply a percentage to the base estimate based on experience. However, for large or more complex projects, professional organizations such as AACE and PMI recommend a more structured risk based approach. This involves identifying project risks, estimating their probability and impact, and sometimes using Monte Carlo simulations to analyze thousands of possible project outcomes. The objective is to achieve an appropriate confidence level, often referred to as P80, meaning there's about an 80% chance the project budget will be sufficient. Looking at the example shown here, a project with a base estimate of $20 million and an 8% contingency results in a total approved budget of $21.6 million. The important point is that contingency should be based on project risk, not simply chosen as an arbitrary percentage. Knowing when to use contingency is just as important as knowing how to calculate it. Contingency is intended for genuine uncertainties within the approved project scope. Examples include unknown ground conditions, incomplete design during early estimating stage, regulatory uncertainties, or quantity growth that occurs naturally as the design develops. On the other hand, contingency should never be used to pay for client requested scope changes, contractor estimating mistakes, poor productivity, commercial negotiations, or design changes introduced after the contract has been awarded. These items should be managed separately through variations or other contractual mechanisms. According to RICS NRM 1, contingency is certainly not a slush fund or a reserve that can be spent freely. Every drawdown should be properly justified, formally approved, and linked to a specific risk event. Good governance ensures contingency remains available for the risk it was actually intended to cover. Let's look at a practical example to understand how contingency works in a real project. Imagine a hospital project with a base construction cost of $15 million. During excavation, the contractor unexpectedly encounters rock that wasn't identified during the ground investigation. Removing this rock requires specialized equipment, additional labor, and more time, resulting in an extra cost of approximately $850,000. Fortunately, the project already included a contingency allowance of $1.2 million, which was approved during the planning stage. After following the formal approval process, the required amount was drawn from contingency, leaving a remaining balance of $350,000. Most importantly, the project remained within its approved budget and there was no need to request additional client funding. This example perfectly illustrates the purpose of contingency. It helps absorb genuine unforeseen risk without causing financial disruption to the project. To conclude, contingency allowances are an essential part of professional cost planning and project budgeting. The first key takeaway is that contingency is designed to manage known unknowns, not to compensate for poor planning or uncontrolled scope changes. Secondly, contingency should always be managed carefully, with every drawdown requiring formal approval and proper documentation. Thirdly, using structured risk assessment techniques such as Monte Carlo simulation or other risk based methods leads to more accurate and reliable contingency estimates than simply applying a fixed percentage. Finally, contingency should never remain static throughout the project. As the design becomes more complete and project uncertainties reduce, the contingency should also be reviewed and adjusted accordingly. Remember this important principle: contingency doesn't mean expecting failure, it means planning responsibly for uncertainty. A good estimator predicts costs, a great estimator also prepares for uncertainty. So, thanks a lot for watching this video, and I hope this presentation has helped you better understand how contingency allowances contribute to successful construction project management. If you have not yet subscribed to QSplorer, please do subscribe for more quantity surveying knowledge, and please share it with your friends and colleagues in the construction sector. Take care. Bye.